Hello and welcome to the Chasing Green Arrows football podcast. Today I have with me my co-host, Mr. Abrar Aziz. How are you doing, buddy?
Sir, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing well, and for the very first time, our special guest, he's shy, he's sly, he's a cutie pie, Mr. Hamza Muhammad. How are you doing, sir?
Not bad, Musibhai. All well.
Thank you so much for joining us. And today, as you can see, one guy is wearing an Arsenal jersey, one guy is wearing a United jersey, and we have a neutral man. So basically, we'll be constructing our United and Arsenal combined 11. And Hamzu, you will be the judge. We'll be selecting each position, and if we don't agree on a player, you'll be the last person who can take the call. I know you hate United, but at the same time, I had to call you in because otherwise this man would put an invincible team and it wouldn't work out. So your presence is important today.
I'll try and not be biased.
Just
Thank you so much. And so it'll be sorry. You can ask.
Just to clarify, from 2000 2002ish. That's when I started watching football.
Yeah, even me. So that's fine. Like from the no what's it, Cantona and Schmeichel. And
no before them. I mean, there are great players in both teams from before that, but just from when we kind of really started following. And I know you and me, kind of all of us, around the same time, the 2002. My first full season was the Invincible season. So from around then.
Okay, done. Yeah, perfect. So we'll start with the goalkeeping position.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So, Hamza, you ready? Don, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, goalkeeping position. Don, what's your? Who do you think from our players? Don't tell me Almunia, man.
I start with Almunia. But to be honest, so like, Jens Lehmann was a fair shout. Yeah. One of the better ones out there. Fabianski, for me personally, very big bias over there, but I think he's really helped out Arsenal in times of need.
What do you mean, man? Fabianski?
Well, yeah, because I'm talking about Arsenal players. You talk about United players.
Okay.
My options, like, okay, I'm gonna give you 3 or 4 options.
Okay.
For me, like Bernd Leno, Wojciech Szczesny. These are my 3 or 4 guys who, for in the Arsenal in the past 10, 12 years.
No Peter Cech?
Well, Peter Cech too, but I think his fair enough. Yeah, I think Peter Cech too. I have to give him the credit because
you didn't watch Seaman, I'm guessing, right? Like we're not including Seaman.
Not because I'm not including him because he's more like, I think his era was like the 2001 2002ish, just before like it really came into play for us. So
yeah, for me there's 2 options: Van der Sar and De Gea. Van der Sar has like better stats, more clean sheets and everything, but I think that's to do with his defense also. No doubt he's a great goalkeeper, tall and everything. I would probably tip De Gea. Like he's been poor recently, like after the World Cup, but he's won a Premier League as well, and I think he's had some crazy games. I can remember last season against Tottenham, he had a crazy game, and like he's done some. Even I think against Chelsea a long time ago, the 3-3, some individual brilliances, that's what I was trying to point out. But his stats haven't been bad as well, 300 games. So I'll probably go ahead with De Gea.
Although,
give me one.
I don't know, man.
Give me one from your 6. Okay, at least you want Van der Sar or De Gea, like from United?
From if I have to choose for United, I think Van der Sar, only because David De Gea has had some really poor. Past 1 or 2 seasons he's been poor, and he's made some critical errors.
Hamzu, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Hamzu.
No, I think I agree with Don Bhai over there. I think De Gea is like special. Like he can win games on his own, but Van der Sar, I think I just feel he's like more consistent. I mean, you didn't see Van der Sar having like those poor seasons and then making those big mistakes in big games. So,
but don't you think a factor to that would be his defense was amazing, like Vidic and Ferdinand in front compared to like Jones and Smalling?
That's a fair shot, but I think again De Gea, like, I mean, I've seen him for Spain also. Yeah. I mean, he's made some errors in the World Cup, if you remember. Definitely, I just feel Van der Sar, like, you didn't see many errors from Van der Sar.
Okay, fine. So from Man United, I'd personally go for Van der Sar. Okay, fine. I agree with that because it's like, for me, it's like 1920, 1920. Don, you tell me.
Okay, so from Arsenal, I think Fabianski was a very, very biased one. I just wanted to see how you react.
Exactly. What the hell is that? And then you started shouting at me. That was so stupid.
No, that was just messing with you. But I think there's 3 real options for me. Bernd Leno, because he's been crazy this season. Like he's just been very good this season only. And based on one season, you really can't decide. Yeah. So for me, it's kind of has to be Jens Lehmann only because of his invincible. And then Petr Cech because of his record, but I think personally, at Arsenal he wasn't the prime that we saw him at Chelsea. I mean, he was okay, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't the prime that we saw him at Chelsea.
Going with Lehmann.
So
okay.
I think I have going with Lehmann.
Yeah. So Hamza, you have to decide between Van der Sar and Lehmann.
I mean, both are really good choices, but I mean, obviously, you have to lean with Van der Sar over there.
Thank you. All right, so our goalkeeper is Van der Sar, thanks to Hamzu. And I think they're both good, great goalkeepers, but Van der Sar, yeah, he's been brilliant like over the years. Okay, now we'll go.
If this pod becomes viral, and if I have to ever justify to any Arsenal fan, this is not my recommendation.
I mean, you have to admit, like Van der Sar during your years also, you've seen him, so like you wouldn't really argue.
It's a fair shot. It's a fair shot.
Okay, so you want to go right back or left back? You mean?
Let's go right to left.
Okay. So right back. Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. So for me, it's Gary Neville, man. 400 matches. I know he's like not the greatest right back I've seen, but he has experience. He'll go in for the tackles. He won't give up. He has 100% heart. Yes, he does have weaknesses. Maybe he hasn't scored enough goals also, but he's given some assists. As those runs with Ronaldo, I remember, were there were some good runs there. He linked up well with him. So for me, it's Gary Neville.
Fair shout. I mean, there is no real other option for you because after that, who did you have?
No. I mean, yeah.
No, I was messing with you. But for me, there are a couple of. I personally think that Lauren for his invincible record, and then I think one of the players that Arsenal has for me has been very underrated in his Arsenal career has been Bakary Sagna. Yeah. I think he's been very good in the time where Arsenal kind of was rebuilding and was relatively average and trying to figure out their things after like that real slump of being the greatest team and then kind of had slump, and then for 4 or 5 years I think Bakary Sagna was really good, and the current Hector Bellerin, though he's been injured, but I think very, very good prospect. But so for me these are the 3 options that come to mind right now. If I have to fight Gary Neville, so I have to put someone really strong out there. What do you suggest, Hamza? Give me something over here. Help me here.
I mean, Sagna was a good shout over the years. I mean, Arsenal had a lot of right backs. I remember Sagna, Eboué was there, and then Bellerin, and then I mean Lauren, as you mentioned. I mean, even Gary Neville. I mean, for United, there's Valencia, there's Gary Neville, and then Rafael, but. I don't know. I mean, obviously Neville is a standout choice, but I think from the Arsenal thing, who comes close, probably Sagna. Sagna maybe has a shout.
Because yeah. So I think. But if I have to pit him against Gary Neville, he falls short. That's my problem over here. But what do you think, Hamza? Musti? What is your like genuine opinion about this? If you have to think about it.
It's difficult, man, but I think I'd go with it's between Sagna and Lauren, because Lauren also has that. I know like it's of team effort, but he's won championship, so he has that experience as well. But yeah, it's between those 2 for me. Bellerin sucks, man. I don't know why you put him in the thing. but to be honest with you, like both teams didn't have the greatest right backs weren't like the center of attention during those days, so
of course.
But yeah, like for me, from Arsenal, it would be one of those 2.
Okay, just again because of his invincible
let me make it easier
Lauren.
for you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because for you, what was your favorite team? It was that team. Yeah. Pick that player, man.
Yeah. So because of his invincible record, Lauren.
Again, with the judge.
Hamzu.
Neville or Lauren?
I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen much of Lauren, but
do you want some stats to help you?
No.
I have some.
Lauren was more.
I mean, honestly, I was still going to pick Gary Neville. I mean, he's again, you can't look away from what Gary Neville has achieved. I think his partnership with first, I think Beckham on the right side over there, and then Ronaldo also. I mean, both have credited him to be like a really good, partner. So. I mean, I'll go for Gary Neville, also playing for England, also so many caps. So
I
captain,
agree with you 100%.
probably.
I can't argue with it. So thank you very much. Okay, center backs now. Well, you want to go 1-1?
Sorry, Don Bhai.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's a fair shout.
Bellerin, and what the hell is that? But listen,
Bellerin is better. Bellerin is better than Gary Neville. Just saying.
So now we'll go center backs. If you agree, we'll go 1-1 if you want.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then we take left back. I mean, left back. I think I have that sort of.
Let's go. Okay, go with your center back.
So for my choice of center back.
Yeah, your choice. We'll put him into the team immediately.
Yeah, Sol Campbell.
I agree with that. For me, it's Nemanja Vidic. I know there's Ferdinand, but for me, yeah, Vidic was just a beast. Torres destroyed him. But I mean, I can't blame him. Like the Torres was also great, and you have those players sometimes who you find difficult to handle. But apart from that, Vidic is a beast.
Yeah, I mean, just honorable mentions also over here because I don't know, and for us to just have a little bit of a discussion over here.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Squillaci, honorable mention.
Sylvester, who played for both of us. For me, like some of the other underrated players that we've kind of. Per Mertesacker, for me, one of the slightly underrated people. I mean, he was came in at a time when Arsenal was in a deep crisis, and we had to buy him on the last day, and he kind of came in and delivered, and also now in the back room doing a lot of good stuff. So kind of per Mertesacker. Thomas Vermaelen, for me, a little bit of a injury-prone career, but when he was and one of the other really big-hearted guys was Koscielny for me. I think when there was like a lot of Arsenal crisis and he never really had a partner. He kept his partners kept breaking up, and that's why he was never able to really form a formidable partnership with anybody. But I think he was big heart and some really good stats. And Kolo Toure.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kolo.
Yeah, it was a hard shout because Sol Campbell's personal. It's a little bit of a bias, I think, over there. But for me, Sol Campbell, I think, pips it just because of the invincible season again.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I agree with you. And Hamza, you're good with the two centre backs, Vidic and Campbell?
Yeah, for sure.
Both good. Okay.
Fair shout. I mean, probably Rio. Comes close, but
the thing is, among the years I saw both of them to play together, like Vidic and Ferdinand, very closely. So for me, I think Ferdinand just made a bit more mistakes, but
right.
I mean, he was also talented. It wasn't, but Vidic for me is just like that presence, the physical presence. Right. But yeah, left back, I'm not going to argue with it, Ashley Cole. But yeah, but for argument's sake, Patrice Evra has been great. He's won 5 Premier Leagues, assists. He's been quick on the wing. Even he's interchangeable. Ronaldo sometimes, or Giggs, with him, he had a good link-up play with them. Defensively wise, he was good as well. But yeah, I can't argue with Ashley Cole.
Because it's a kind of a bittersweet one for me, because personally at this point, after the way he treated us and left for Chelsea, I don't like him that much. But for his Arsenal stats, I think you have to give him that slot over there. So
Hamsu, you agree with that? Evra has more championships, but yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's not so outright also, because Evra, he's played Champions League, he's won Champions League, but you cannot leave out Ashley Cole. I mean, his battles with Ronaldo, I remember those were in Chelsea, but still, Ashley Cole was probably the best player in this position at that time.
Yeah, without doubt, in the Premier League for sure. So we have the defense and goalkeeper so sorted. Hamza, you noted it down, the team so far?
Yeah.
I remembered as well. So goalkeeper we went with?
Van der Sar.
Yeah. Van der Sar, and then we had Neville, and then we had Sol Campbell and Vidic as the centre halves, and Ashley Cole as a left back.
Perfect. Okay, we're playing 4-4-2, right? Just for...
Yeah, I was going to say, so we have 2 midfielders and then 2
wingers and 2 strikers.
Wingers and then 2 attack.
Yeah.
Sounds
okay,
good.
So we go to the midfield. Where do you want to go? Right wing, left wing, middle? Where do you want to go? I'll give you the choice.
Let's start with the middle and then we'll go towards.
Okay, go sir. Patrick Vieira.
That I think captain also of the team.
I disagrey. I want Abu Dhabi in my team, man.
Abu Dhabi,
bro, he's a beast. Hamzu, he was a beast, right? When he
was.
But too injury prone.
Like Yaya Toure. Yeah, exactly.
If those injuries were not there, I think he was. It was possible that he'd have like a really, really solid career.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so you'd go with Vieira?
100%.
Partnering Paul Scholes, man, for me. I mean, Roy Keane was very close. I mean, Roy Keane and Vieira, that'd be crazy midfield. But like Scholes had his like crazy things, like he used to get a red card here and there, but like his eye for a pass, and considering he had an eye issue, right? He had an eye issue, but still, like, his passes were unbelievable. He would pluck it out of nowhere, So for me, just for that thing, like, it's difficult. Roy Keane also is amazing and 100%, like, a brilliant captain as well. And with Vieira, I think they'd make a good combination. But I think Scholes.
Fabregas.
I mean, I was just going to say Fabregas.
That's a big shout only because I mean,
if you're willing to consider Van Persie, I'll put Fabregas right now. Exactly. There's no way.
Okay, no, but we'll get to the strikers. But Fabregas is a fair shout only because I think it's legit. Like, to think about it, because he the way he kind of carried Arsenal and his performances in the Champions League against against the likes of the AC Milan and all, when they were really good, to have those kind of performances and really carried them around and. So it is something that we might have to consider. I mean, Paul Scholes, yes, very good. But if you're being fair to with the way we've been going, like we've been having two defenders,
no, we're not being fair. We're picking the right player for that spot. But even here, it's fair. Like, you take Vieira and I take one player. But it doesn't have to be like that. Like, if Hamzu wants, he can pick two Arsenal players. It's not a problem. Like, I don't have an issue with that. But for me, Scholes tops Fabregas for sure, man. And a longer career, more experience. Look, for me, Fabregas he's an amazing player. I still remember there was a game he came on the 50th minute. He gave 2 assists and scored a goal or something like that, and then he got injured and went off. Like 10 minutes. That impact, I still remember that. Like, correct. So for me, I think it's against Aston Villa a long time ago, like in 2008-9.
And since you're considering the Premier League 11.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, he's a good shout, but for me, Paul Scholes, man. Again, Champions League winner, but he's won tons of Premier Leagues, and just his eye for a pass. Unbelievable. But I leave it to Hamzu. So either Vieira, Scholes, Vieira, Fabregas, or if you have another option, you can talk about it.
No. I mean, I'll stick to that Vieira and Scholes. I mean, if you would have played like a 3-man midfield, then I would have said Fabregas. But I think Vieira and Scholes is like a really, really good partnership.
Yeah,
really good.
It'll be solid.
Like, has everything. Yeah.
Yeah, solid for sure.
Vieira and Keane will only fight with each other. It'll get very hard after that.
No, I mean, for the opposition, it would be tough, right? Like,
no. No, absolutely. I was joking about that.
They fly into tackles and stuff. It'll be difficult for opposition players with both of them. But yeah, I think for me, it's Scholes. Now, Wing, you choose whichever one. I'm not going to agree with you, but you can go for either
one. Okay, who are your 2 wingers? You tell first.
Ronaldo, Giggs, bro. Don't argue with me. I have even Beckham for backup. He'll also give your Junberg.
Give me Fabregas.
No. Hamzu,
give me Fabregas.
Junberg. You want Junberg in your team?
Robert Pires?
Yeah. I'm not.
Pires is a good shot.
I'm not making fun of Pires, bro, but Ronaldo and Giggs. I'm just giving you those names.
Lumberg's also. I think we should take 1-1. Should be fair.
No, listen. Cristiano Ronaldo. Look how he started.
Cristiano Ronaldo, fair. I mean, I'm not fighting that. So when I'm trying to fight is Perez over Giggs, only because I haven't seen the 99, that one run that he's made, which everyone only talks about.
It was 99. We're not considering that. I'll send you the link right now. It takes 2 minutes. We're not considering.
No, but it's 99. I'm not. We decided that we're not considering it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
fine.
Based off of that,
even if you take that away, okay. Now you have an idea of how he played then, right? But forget how he played. We're not going to use that, okay? But now look how he adjusted over his career. He still played wing for a long time until like 2008-9, and then he went midfield. But even in wing, like, he's won Premier Leagues as a winger with Ronaldo, like, on the other side.
But did he score from 40 yards? Did he chip the goalkeeper 40 yards?
Man, you're not allowing me to talk about the 99 goal. Otherwise, I can talk a lot about that.
But that was in 2004.
Yeah, okay, but still. I mean, and also look at his. I'm talking about his adaptability. It's as a winger, it's you have to understand, like, years are limited. Look at Gareth Bale. He's not what he was like 6 years ago, right? Neither was Giggs, but the way he changed his game, he kept adapting, and what the team required, he adjusted. He played wing. He wasn't as quick even in 2000s when I watched, but he still played a different type of winger role. And then he went center midfield. Like, you can't argue with that, man.
But that's the reason why if you're putting him in the wing, he's not the most accurate, because you're choosing this team from 2002, 2003. So that is something I'd ask Hamza to consider when he's picking his.
You have a fair point.
With Ronaldo, I can't fight it, because Ronaldo is one of the best players in the world right now. And he was quite amazing when in his United career, and even after that, of course, even now, whatever. But I just think that you have to give it to Perez only on the basis of that invincible season, and just because of how. At the time of comparison, I think Perez was.
Giggs won a treble. He won 3 Premier League titles in a row on the wing. No. I'm talking about 3 Premier League games: 2007, 8, 9 on the wing. 3 Premier League titles.
Was he a consistent player at that time? He was not playing all the games, right? I don't remember exactly.
Games. Most, yeah.
But he was not, and he was more of a impact player, and he kind of all the times, and he was trying to like.
No, that was like in 2012. But at that time, that was like. Huh?
No, that is my argument about it. If you're basing it completely on the wings only, and with the kind of impact that Perez had over those 2 or 3 years, at least initially, which we are considering, I that's why I'm saying Perez, right? I don't know. I'm just saying Perez because of that reason. I think we are not going to agree, and that's the reason. I think this is one of the important reasons for us having Hamza in this conversation, because whatever he decides is fair. So, I mean, the Arsenal fans.
Very good.
Hamza, not me.
Hamza, you have 2 options: Ryan Giggs and Perez.
Hamza, Theo Walcott.
Theo Walcott.
No way.
Theo Walcott, bro. But yeah, Hamza, Perez or Giggs. You can talk about it before you make a decision if you want.
I mean, Perez was probably a little more creative. I mean, in that invincible team, from what I've heard and seen a little bit, I think he used to come in, and then he was like a really creative force in that team. But Giggs, I mean, the underrated thing is he used to also track back. I mean, the defensive work rate of Giggs was one of the a really, really, really good attributes. So I mean,
he won a lot of tackles.
Exactly. If we have Ronaldo on the wing, he's not going to track back. I mean, so we need at least one winger who slightly has a good work rate. I mean, I'm not sure if Robert Perez...
I promise you Perez will. I promise you Perez will.
Smart guy, man. We selected a good judge, man. He's thinking, he's saying points I even forgot about. This is a good judge. I like him.
So I mean, it has to be Giggs.
And I just want to tell the audience here that this man is a Liverpool fan. Okay, he hates Man United. He always troubles me when Man United lose. So there's no bias over here. I didn't bring a Man United judge just because it's our show, but he's a Liverpool fan. So these are all facts, man. Ryan Giggs. Okay, so in the midfield we have Cristiano Ronaldo, Vieira, Paul Scholes, and Giggs. Whoa,
Giggs.
Okay, I think that's fair. I know you won't agree. Perez, nothing to take away from Perez and Ljungberg. They've been crazy. They had some crazy runs the invincible season.
But Ljungberg, I can't even fight because considering his opposition on the right wing has been Ronaldo, you can't really fight.
But
it.
Even
I'm just a little bit upset with this one.
Even Perez, you have a good argument, but Giggs, man, this is just the experience, everything, adaptability, tracking back, everything. He's just for me. But yeah. I mean,
that's legit why we needed a person to come and judge it. I have to go with that judgment. So
yeah. Done. I think that's fair enough. But okay, before we go to the strikers, please let me know. We're not considering Bergkamp, are we?
But how that the problem I have with this team right now, I was thinking about it, is Ozil and Bergkamp kind of come in as a central attacking midfielder, and that is not how we are playing this team.
You can fit Bergkamp in a 4-4-2. You can. But have you seen him?
If you're fitting Bergkamp in a 4-4-2, then you remove anybody else in this whole team and keep Bergkamp, even Ronaldo, in my personal opinion, because of the artist that he was.
No, where would you prefer to play him? Wouldn't you play him alongside the striker or just behind him?
Personally, I like 4-1-3-2. That's kind of how I would go with this team. So I have I wouldn't have Scholes in this team, right? And then I have Bergkamp up there, and then I keep both your wingers, and then I have only one striker.
Where is Bergkamp playing? Right behind the striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do that in a 4-4-2 also.
So yeah, okay. So then we can do a 4-4-2. Fair enough.
No, but I'm just asking, have you watched him though?
Of course I have watched him.
Okay, then it makes it
I haven't watched him speak. I mean, I've known everything about him, but I haven't seen him live.
Berg comes out of the picture. I mean, the thing is, the reason I'm asking him because for me it's difficult. The guy was amazing. I can't.
Yeah,
he's a legend.
Yeah, so I've seen while I was watching Arsenal, because at that time that's the reason. For me, the Arsenal rivalry is huge because when I was watching, Arsenal were at the peak and Henry and Bergkamp were the guys used to terrorize me, give me nightmares.
Because 20 he played a part in the 2002-2003 season.
Yeah, he did, but I wasn't sure if you watched him consistently. At that
no,
time.
Of course. I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 seasons of him. So for me, he is.
I'll still argue with it, but yeah. So for me, one striker is Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Are we considering him or no? What did we decide? Are we or no?
No, because the judge doesn't know him. I mean,
sorry about that, Don.
Because the thing is, I don't mind considering, but then it won't be fair, right? He's not sure exactly, so he can easily say, no, I don't want Bergkamp, so it doesn't make sense, right? Because he hasn't seen him.
No, I think that's fair. I think.
If you want to go him over Henry, that's fine with me. But yeah.
I mean, for the strikers, there's no argument on one spot. I think Thierry Henry takes it. If that's even being even for 1 second, if Hamza is also considered,
look over here. There'll be a lot. For me, it's very easy. But if it was another United fan, it might be very difficult, right? Because you have to choose between Rooney as well. Van Nistelrooy as well. There was Tevez also. There was Saha. There were some really good strikers. But for me, there's Van Persie. Oh shit, I forgot about him.
You have to consider Van Persie because he's had a couple of good seasons with Arsenal and then a couple of good seasons with.
So for me, it's between the two Dutch strikers because I don't like Rooney at all. Right? For me, I just don't like him.
But his stats.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If it was another United guy he might have said Rooney. We know a few friends of ours who would just say Rooney straight away, right? But for me, I'm not even considering. So I'm not considering him. For me, it's between Van Persie and Van Nistelrooy. The reason is Van Nistelrooy, he was very clinical. He was quick on the break. He probably didn't win that many titles, but he was brilliant. And he made me fall in love with United actually. So Van Nistelrooy right up there. Van Persie, he came in one season and he won the Premier League because that buy won us the trophy. I'm not saying yes, of course teams win you trophies, but we were second, right, the year before, if you remember, when City scored that. And this guy was the difference. He even scored in the derby last second against Man City. Hamza, I think you'll remember that clearly.
Yeah. So 3-2 game,
Yeah, so he had an instant impact. And with Arsenal, just the season before, he was amazing as well. But he also had injuries and stuff like that. With Van Nistelrooy, you can argue that he fought with Ferguson and left to Madrid, but he still played around 150 games. That's a lot of games for United. So for me, it's between these two. But Hamza, do you want to help me out in this?
I mean, I think we can put Rooney also in that, honestly.
We could.
The young Rooney especially, he was terrifying. I mean, especially I think Euro 2004, and from then on, the young Rooney. I think you probably have Van Nistelrooy, Rooney, and then Van Persie, the three for that one spot.
The thing which I'm thinking for me was Van Nistelrooy without a doubt, but what's tipping me is that Henry is playing on the other side, I'm guessing. So Van Persie has a good connection with him. But at the same time, we've already seen that chemistry. So I don't know, maybe something different. Henry and Van Nistelrooy would look good as well. Don, who do you go for from these two?
From those two, because of the hatred I have towards Van Persie, I find it hard to go with him. But
would you say Rooney over Van Nistelrooy or no?
I would seriously consider Rooney, in especially in his prime for his 2 or 3 years where he really came in and what a force he was. He was so quick and he was scoring goals left, right, and center and really taking the team forward. But I guess it again depends on Hamza. And if we are going with two strikers, the only way I've been undone here by picking two wingers of United, that kind of gives Arsenal a little bit of a doubt. But But honorable mention to Nicholas Bentner. I think
Lord Bentner and Marwan Chamak.
Marwan Chamak. We have Oliver Giroud. You can choose from any of these, Hamza, whoever you like. We have.
So Hamza, you can think of it like this: if you want like clinical goal scorers like Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie, if you want somebody who will work hard behind Henry, give him some assists and stuff, you can go with Rooney. But I just don't like Rooney, man. I can't like.
Right. But the thing, but if you have to think of the combination of the team, Henry does all that hard work for you anyway. So you don't need a Rooney because Henry he'll track back, he'll give you those assists
as well. Yeah.
So if you want an out and out goal scorer, then I think Van Nistelrooy or even Van Persie is I guess it decide.
I would go for Van Nistelrooy, but I have nothing against Van Persie. Like I wouldn't mind either one. I think Hamza will take that call.
I mean, I saw Van Nistelrooy, I think, for Real Madrid and also Netherlands. I mean, I didn't see a lot for United.
Yeah.
But, I mean, really, really great player. I think majority, I mean, he was like a really good finisher, especially, I think, out of the three, he's probably the best finisher.
Yeah.
And Van Persie also, I mean, amazing movement and then, like, scored special goals. I mean, it's really, really tough. I think it comes down to a little bit of preference. I think I'd go with Van Persie over there.
Van Persie. Yeah, fair shout. I mean, you can't argue with that. I would go with Van Nistelrooy, but I can't argue with that. Like Van Persie. And I think Don will be a bit happy because he's played for Arsenal as well. So.
Still a bit sour at that Perez situation.
So I think we have that sorted. But just you have to give me a 5-second answer. Hamza will be counting, okay? What if you don't like Van Persie, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between what Van Persie did and what Fabregas did? You have like 10 seconds to answer this.
I know. But the thing is, for me, it's a hard one. I'm not gonna fight it because मुंह में गालियाँ आया तो मुश्किल रहता. Then it's like a problem.
Okay, but, I think we have a team sorted.
But the only thing is Fabregas left for another team. I didn't want Van Persie went to a straight competitor. Fabregas went to Barcelona. That's the only kind of.
But Fabregas could have also come back. I think. I mean, there was a comeback clause. I think.
Yeah, and but Wenger didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal didn't want that. I think that time.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wenger, we're gonna go with the manager now. The last deal. There is no argument. Okay.
I think.
Hamza, I know you.
I think let's not do the manager because. See, I'm already a little upset with the way. I think both of them are equal. Let's give it to that. Okay?
I'm just saying they're both equal, man.
You decide how you want. Arsenal changed the way football is being played.
Yeah, both ways. And I'm not doubting that, but then he changed it back again when he was. Look, Hamza, it's a simple choice. You want 13 titles, or do you want 3 titles and you want 4th position every year?
And you want invincible season. The only person who's ever done it.
And I mean,
it's simple. Okay.
You know how much it means the invincible season because Hamzu, you were close enough, and it must have really hurt, right? It must have really hurt when you lost that game. So on the basis of that, I think just give it to Wenger. After letting me down with Perez, I think you can.
I won't do the manager, but there's no argument. You know that.
I mean, let's not do the manager. If you're going to decide other than Wenger, or I think. I mean, no. I'm just messing. If whoever Hamza wants to decide, because that's why we have a judge.
You want to go with the manager or no?
I don't want to go with the manager.
Hamza, do you want to keep a manager in this team or no?
No, let's leave the manager.
If you want, you can do a neutral.
Because I don't want to upset Don Bhai
again.
We can go with Hassan Bhai as manager.
I can say neutral one, but I pretty much know who that neutral one will be from the judges' likings.
If you want to go for this team, who will be one of the other managers?
I know who you'd go with, but yeah.
I mean, I would go with this choice too. Yeah, I agree with this choice.
I don't mind with that. I don't think he's the greatest manager ever, but yeah, I don't mind. You could go.
But, I mean, honestly, I would have gone for Klopp. I think for this team.
That's so weird.
Klopp?
Yeah.
Very good, man. I thought you were going with Guardiola. Thank God.
No, I think I'd go for.
No. I think
I'd go for Klopp.
Yeah. I think for this team, Klopp would be perfect. Man manager is required because a lot of personalities in this team. It would be good for having a man manager. So Klopp.
Let's just go over the team just once. Just if you can announce the team once, and I think it's a pretty solid team, man. Thank you, Hamza, man. You helped me. Yeah, if you can just.
I mean, we have Van der Sar in goal.
Yeah.
And then coming to the back four, we have Gary Neville, Sol Campbell, Nemanja Vidic, and Ashley Cole at left back.
Yeah.
And then for our midfield, four midfielders. In the center, we have Scholes and Vieira. And then on the wings, we have Ronaldo and Giggs.
Yeah.
And then up top, we have Van Persie and the King, Thierry Henry.
Okay, I think that's a great team.
I think just Captain Vieira. Just to kind of close this conversation out.
Okay, fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. But I think that's a very solid team. But just before I go, I just want to ask both of you one question. Because like Hamzu's a Liverpool fan, so we didn't talk about Liverpool as much in this thing. We will in other episodes. But I have a very quick question. Hamza has 1 minute to answer. You have 10 seconds to answer this question. So both of you have witnessed some great seasons, like Hamzu recently with your team Liverpool, and you've seen that stupid invincible season you keep talking about.
Sure.
So I mean that was great as well, but yeah. Hamza, why do you think this Liverpool team was better than that invincible team?
Oh.
I don't know if you're thinking it or not, but just give me. You're a Liverpool fan, so just give it to me.
Hamza and me have had a conversation about this a lot in the past. So
yeah. I mean, yes, Liverpool. And one more question I have, Hamzu, for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go with this first.
I mean, honestly, I think that team, from what I've heard, I mean, they had so many draws in the end. It was almost like they were playing for that invincible season. I mean, obviously, it's like a unique achievement. I think no team has done it. I mean, in our era, and probably won't. That's like really unique. But if you play a game, obviously, you never know. But I just feel personally, this team has, I mean, more. I mean, it's more overall slightly better. I mean, there's more avenues where we can win the game through. Like, we have a great front three. I mean, Trent is there at right back. He provides. Then Robertson is there, assists. And then we have a decent midfield also. So we are slightly more better overall, I think. And then we've won the Champions League also. And then I think even for the points, I mean, we would have surpassed that Invincibles team. So I personally would have chosen this Liverpool team.
That's a very fair point. And you have 10 seconds.
Even God didn't want it to happen because Corona came. No, I was messing. But I mean, he has a fair point, but he also has one loss. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's really tough. It's really tough to compare. I mean, teams. I mean,
it's just for discussion. There's no right or wrong answer in this. Like, to be honest,
I think VAR has helped them a little bit too. So just putting it out as one of the other things. I was just messing with you, Mohit.
At that time, the main competitors I think were United. I mean, right now
there are.
I think I don't know. Premier League I feel slightly is a little more tougher at the moment. I mean, there's more competition. I didn't know how strong the bottom teams were at that time, or the mid-table teams were at that time. But yeah, it's like really difficult to compare.
Yeah, right now you have more.
I would go for Liverpool. Yeah,
you have more teams in the mix right now for sure.
Right.
It's difficult to compare, but yeah, there are more teams like going for the title. Whether they were strong or not, that's different. But
which one would you go for, Mustafa, between the two?
I mean, look, for me it's very different. I would go with that invincible team, but as a team. But what Liverpool have done, I think, is greater, man. Like because I don't like Liverpool. Of course, I'm a United fan. That's simple. But the fact that they've been winning games last season, like, I mean, I've seen the growth in the last 3-4 years. So in the beginning, they were an attacking team. They made mistakes and everything. But now with Van Dijk in, they've won games where they shouldn't have won. And for me, that's a championship side. Probably that Arsenal team played more pretty football, but this Liverpool team was more clinical, I think, in winning games. And there's some games, even 1-0, 2-0, they won, but they were dominating and like a proper clean sheet. I think Klopp adjusted really well in that sense. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, like I love the way the Arsenal team played, but yeah, for me, the Liverpool team, what they did was great. Like, you can't really. But now my last question is, it's been how many years? 30, 29, 28?
30 years.
How the hell does it feel now? Right now, please explain as a Liverpool fan, because I cannot believe it. Look, for me, this is like even if you told me to write a script and say something, I couldn't come up with this. Like, please come with a virus and like screw Liverpool season, because this never happened in our life, right? Like, jokes aside, it's a very serious virus. Everything, like, and that's why this is not happening. But who could have imagined like this would happen?
Definitely. I mean, it is like a bit of an anticlimax. I mean, it's all spoiled.
We were
waiting for this league title. I was like waiting for to celebrate and rub it in. But I mean, I'm still hopeful that the league will finish and then we can win it. But it's obviously not going to be the same with the situation right now.
Yeah. They're saying June 8th, possibly the return, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But if you don't win the title, Do you see this team?
It's heartbreaking.
Do you see this? Yeah, of course. Like I can't even imagine. But do you see this team performing again like they did this year, or it'll be much more difficult?
I mean, it'll be really difficult to, get back and then get back themselves to motivate themselves. And perform like the way they have this season. But still, it's a young team. It's not like we've even reached our peak. So it's a young team. Klopp is there. So if one or two new faces come in, I think we'll still be the best team in the league and win. So
fair shout.
Hopeful.
Yeah, but if anyone should be there to motivate this team, it's Jurgen Klopp, man. Nobody else could do it at this to try and come out of this kind of a situation and motivate these boys to kind of go out there and perform again. I think one of the only people who can do it is Klopp. So they're in safe hands at least.
I think where it'll be so sad because it's like we've almost come till April, and then if you don't win, it's like virtually a whole season. He's fighting out with Guardiola, and then. So many teams. It's so tough. But then we've done so well.
And they were so close the season before.
Exactly.
But
exactly. I think it'll be a really heartbreaker. Yeah.
But a quick question: if the league ends now, right? So they won't get that trophy. That's official.
There's so many conflicting rumors. Nobody's sure.
So there's no set thing. Like even if they don't play any more games, the trophy could be or could be not be given.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a 50-50 shout at the moment.
Okay.
The most recent meeting was that they will resume this season, so it'll be June 8th is what.
Yeah, because there's a lot of money being lost, so they really want to finish it. But it all depends on the situation. We hope that at least the situation gets better and we start seeing football again. I would love to see that. Even if Liverpool, I don't want to see Liverpool win the league, but football is football, and I hope everything gets better. But thank you guys.
We all miss it.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you soon in the next episode. Take care. It was a lot of fun, and see you soon.
Thank you, Masti bhai. Thank you, Don bhai.
Okay.
Real fun. Yeah.
Okay. Chalo.